Good morning, everybody. It is 6 a.m. and right now the city of Louisville and the state of Kentucky are under states of emergency as we monitor flooding. You're taking a live look at 2nd Street, where Metro Sewer District crews plan to install another flood wall within a matter of about an hour or so. Our Jim Stratman is there and is going to bring us more details coming up in 2 minutes. First, though, we do say good morning to you, Kentuckiana. We're glad you're here on your Friday. Take a look at that green behind me. Heavy rain expected to continue through the weekend, and it's already leading to the potential for dangerous flooding throughout our area. We're going to get over to meteorologist Evan Stewart now. Evan, to talk about all of that, because from tornadoes to severe weather and now to flooding, it's just been several days of concern, unfortunately.
It has, and it looks like that will continue even into tomorrow. And finally, this whole pattern will start to break down on Sunday, but we've got the heavy rain that continues across the area. Quite a bit of lightning out there this morning as well from these thunderstorms moving through. And I think today the transition is going to be from Kentucky into Indiana as this front slowly lifts northward, and then it'll move back southward into the day tomorrow. So that means another round of rain. Notice this heavy rain earlier this morning that continues across our southern tier counties as these storms move from the southwest to the northeast. We call it training, and it's just because it looks like train cars on a railroad track where these storms just follow one after another, and that's what produces the flooding. And we continue to see flash flood warnings across just about the entire Kentuckiana area. Off towards the north, we are seeing no warnings right now, but I expect as this front lifts northward that we could see those flash flood warnings extended into our northern tier counties. These are some of the flood reports just coming in. In the past 3 hours, we've had reports of water flowing over Eminence Pike near Drain Lane. That was just about a little more than an hour and 15 minutes ago. And then we had a report around 3 o'clock of some flooding as well near the Louisville Airport. So through Sunday morning, we have the weather impact alert because we're continuing to see thunderstorms and flooding. This pattern finally starting to break down as we get into the day on Sunday. So have a way to receive those weather warnings. Weather impact alert continuing through this afternoon. Notice the rain starting to taper off as the front lifts northward, and temperatures warming up into the 60s by this afternoon and 70s this evening. I'll have the rest of the forecast and the 7-day outlook in just 15 minutes.
Evan, thank you. We're going to get you out now to Jim Stratman live downtown, where MSD is going to be doing those flood wall installations today. And Jim, yeah, that's going to be so crucial, especially down there very close to the Ohio.
Well, Grace, we are underneath the 2nd Street Bridge right now, and in just a couple of hours, maybe even a little bit less than that, crews will be out here to continue their flood preparations in the metro. You see that sign behind me, the Ohio River right there? Well, off to the left and off to the right, there are 2 big granite-looking platforms that have fleur-de-lis and other things decorated into them. What those are actually floodgates, and crews will swing these floodgates closed and block off the river here at 2nd Street underneath the bridge. That's just one of the 3 flood walls they're going to be setting up today. This coming after they set up 2 yesterday out at 10th Street and 27th Street. In fact, you'll see video right now of crews out there reinstalling those flood walls. And I say reinstalling because they had just installed these in February to deal with the last round of flooding. Crews getting very used to this process at this point. Now, MSD says that it does also expect to have all 16 of its flood pump stations up and running by Sunday in preparation for the river to continue rising.
And it's very important that we use these assets because they protect not only downtown Louisville, but over 200,000 people that live within the proximity of the Ohio River. So we have always said that these are critical assets.
Critical assets that are actually about 75 years old at this point. Tony Parrott, the CEO of MSD, said the city is putting a lot of investment into upgrading these pump stations to better handle flooding events like we expect to see this weekend. And as we know, when it comes to the Ohio River, these floods take a while. They don't happen right away when the rains start. It is days after that we start to see the river continue to rise. And right now, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association is predicting that the river will crest on Monday at about 33, 34 feet. For point of reference for you. If you remember the floods from February, what that looked like down here underneath the bridges, underneath I-64, this is about to be 5 to 6 feet higher than what those flood waters were at. Grace?
Right, Jim, thank you. Across the state, Governor Andy Beshear says flooding is a top concern, especially in western and central Kentucky. He said thankfully nobody was killed in Wednesday night's storms. But as we get more rain in the coming days, Kentuckians need to be vigilant when it comes to safety.
So everybody needs to be really cognizant of flooding. If we got through one of the worst forecasts for tornadoes we've seen in a while, this is one of the worst for flooding. We just want to make sure we keep everybody safe.
Beshear also reminded people to not drive through floodwaters or go searching for damage. That can cause traffic backups that hinder emergency responders. And we're getting a better look at the storm damage out of southern Indiana. On Green Valley Road in New Albany, 2 power line poles snapped during Wednesday night's storms. Across town, a large tree fell on top of someone's roof. The granddaughter of the resident said the homeowners went to their basement when the storm started and 5 minutes later heard that loud crack.
Yeah, it is on the power lines back there. They were sparking and popping this morning. Some firefighters came out, they put some tape up, and, there wasn't much they could do until the power company comes.
About 40 minutes north in South Boston, strong winds flipped over several headstones at a local cemetery. For now, the National Weather Service says it won't have any more crews on the ground in southern Indiana surveying damage for a few days because of continued severe weather and staffing shortages. That also applies to Jeffersontown, one of the hardest hit areas during Wednesday night's storms. Some pretty stunning video here from our Sky 11 drone showing the roof ripped from His Kids Academy off Plantside Drive. This is on top of devastating damage to several homes in a neighborhood just a few miles away. WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Emma Gefter spoke to people impacted.
This actually fell in early this morning while we were here working.
Damaging overnight winds wreaking havoc on this Middletown home.
Walk over the door that was blown off the frame.
Debbie Collini, whose daughter, son-in-law, and grandkids thankfully weren't home when storms hit. She showed us the piles of debris upstairs from the caved-in roof.
And that came down while we were here last night.
She pointed to the waterlogged ceilings.
This ceiling's going to be dropping. It's already starting to crack.
This door was from a child's bedroom. He's 5 years old, lives in this room. The door basically pushed off, and the inside is gut-wrenching. This is where he would have slept had he been home.
If he'd been sleeping in his bed, who knows what could have happened? Because there's glass over here from the window.
Nails, glass, it looks like a plane went down. I picked up a goalpost, damaged lights.
Emergency crews surveying the damage to dozens of homes in this neighborhood just off I-64 and the Gene Snyder.
To nobody hurt, that's the, thank goodness.
Jason Savada woken up in the dead of night to his home office and bathroom windows shattered.
I'm trying to get me dog and this tornado's hitting and then the glass is coming in and then it was just over. And then it's like, what happened?
A few miles down, our Sky 11 drone showing destroyed commercial buildings in Jeffersontown. Businesses like daycares and education centers gutted. Meanwhile, Mayor Craig Greenberg was asked about the National Weather Service's shortage of staff this week and how it relates to cuts at the federal level.
We're hopeful that regardless of any cuts that have been made, that the resources are available in terms of people and dollars to help us right here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
If you have tree limbs or other debris from these storms, you'll have to wait a few days before you can drop it all off for free. Metro Works says it will not be opening collection sites until Monday. Typically, these spots open the day after a big storm, but they're delayed due to the ongoing weather situation. In addition, the pop-up recycling drop-off originally planned for tomorrow at U of L's Shelby campus has been canceled. There are several more days of concerning weather ahead, so you'll want to download the WHAS 11 News app. That's where we'll send you the updates and alerts about flooding and the parts of Kentuckiana being impacted as it is all happening.